Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Awaken the World. We are live here on the 14th of February in the year 2021. It is 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Happy Valentine's Day tonight. The Ten Commandments. Couldn't be a more fitting video on Valentine's Day, believe it or not. And I know that sounds a little funny, but so I'm going to explain a little bit. But first of all, as always, let me just express my love to each and every one of you on this Valentine's Day. And now I'm going to wreck it all, okay? So, historically, there was a guy rumored to have been a Roman priest around the year 270 after death, AD, after Christ's death. And he is the known as the patron saint of love, beekeepers, and epileptics. Very interesting mix. And there's really about 12 different Saint Valentines throughout history, and none of them really owe the credit as far as we can figure out. The credit actually goes to an English poet by the name of Chaucer, who around 1395, mentioned the idea of February 14th being the day that animals and humans got together for love. Now, I think he meant animals and humans. Although, given the day, it's hard to say. But the point being is that Valentine's Day, like most other holidays, is primarily manufactured. And it becomes a source of pressure a lot of times for people. Arguments that happen out at the whole nine yards doesn't really matter. The point being, any day where there's an excuse to love, I'm okay with. Because for me, it's every day. I don't need any excuse. But if we're going to make a day where we're encouraging people to express their love for another, so be it. I'm okay with that. So what the heck does this have to do with the Ten Commandments? Everything. Now, we did a video a couple of years ago, and you'll have to forgive me as every once in a while I'll need a little sip of my coffee. Still getting used to working with these teeth. So if you've been around for a few years or more, you know that I did a video called the Ten Commandments a long time ago. I don't know, in 2018. And this is kind of a revisit, and it's an important revisit. Because in my mind, these weren't really commandments at all. They weren't. They were instead promises. Promises given to us out of love to show us where we are, or where we were if we're talking about back in the day, on our journey, on our path, on our way back home. And home is nowhere else than remembering the truth of who and what you are in every way. So let's begin from the point of view of the 10 promises given out of love on this Valentine's Day from the Creator for you to know as signs that you are truly on the path. And you can never not be on the path. But this is a way where we are made aware of when we are on the highest path possible. And again, the Ten Commandments were not commandments. They are promises from a loving Creator, promises to you, signs that you will see, ways of behaving that will indicate to you that you are on your highest path. So, of course, the first commandment, and the first commandment, of course, it would seem to come from a very jealous sort of God, unless we look a little deeper. And the first commandment is, of course, then, thou shalt have no other gods before me. What is this really talking about? As a promise, This promise is that when you are aligned with the truth of your existence, there will be no other deities in your way. That there'll be nothing else you will worship more than your goal of experiencing that wholeness again, of getting out of your own way, of realizing the great I am that you are. And in that, you are promised, when you are on that highest path, when you have your mind, body, and spirit all in alignment, you shall have no other position on the totem pole that is higher. That one, that creative whole, that love, that ocean of love that we swim in and are made of and are part of, all at the same time, will be your only concern. All of the rest of your life will spill naturally out of that concern. This is what is meant by the first promise that a loving creator gave to all of his children, all of her children, all of its children. When you're on that path, you shall have no other God before me. When you are on that highest path, you will cease to make or use graven images or likenesses of anything. Now, what does that mean? Because it literally instructs us not to make any sort of symbol or image in any way that's representative of that which is above or that which is below or that which is in the water even. Now, why would we be made that promise? Not a commandment. As the commandment, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But as a promise, it makes a whole lot of sense. What it's really saying is when you're on that highest path, you will never trade a representation or facsimile of truth for truth. You will never trade that which you perceive in front of you for your higher knowing from that higher viewpoint. You will always be attracted to that which is natural and truly real. And those images that would pull our attention off to the side and confuse us, you will naturally leave behind. The third commandment, and again, this commandment is a promise. You can think of it as a commandment that you will do this when you are on your highest path. You will remember the Sabbath day. And what we're really talking about there is when you are in that state of being, when you are on your highest path, you will take a day to rest, a day to regroup, a day to be grateful, a day to be kind to others, a day to simply be, even in the midst of your experiences and your journeys. You will make time for yourself, time to turn inward, to come home to your own inner being. The fourth commandment is, of course, thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain. Now, when we realize that this is a promise, we understand that when we are on our highest path in life, we will not use that position or an egoic state of mind in relation to how we feel where we are on our path in terms perhaps of consciousness, to look down upon another and lord our position over them in any way. Because God is there too. My experience to date has been that there is nowhere that I cannot find the Creator. The Creator speaks to me in every rock, in every tree, in every leaf, and every encounter with every being. When you are on that highest path, you will not use that in vain. Honor thy father and mother. This is a big one. And this is a magnificent promise. And the promise is that no matter what you thought of your childhood, no matter how bad you thought your parents were, or what they did to you, or what they didn't do to you, when you are on your higher path, you will see from that point of view that you chose them and that they loved you as best as they could. And that you knew the experience you were having in your upbringing was going to shape you, and you were ready for that challenge, and you honor them for offering you that gift. In the same way that I honor my own father, who sexually abused me as a very young child. I would change nothing of my childhood, for it helped make me who I am today. We are offered these promises, not commandments. You are promised that when you are on your highest path, you shall not kill. You shall give up the concept of harming another or taking another's life to somehow satisfy yourself. Now, in this, we are taking on its simplest terms that we shall not kill each other. And it is also clear that we live on a planet designed to provide. And there is a profound difference between senseless killing and foraging for necessary food. This is also a promise that you've been given when you are on this higher path of love. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Whether you're talking about adultery or coveting, there's not a lot of a lot of that can be actually seen as very similar. But what we're really talking about here is you're being promised that when you are on your higher path, you will no longer covet that exterior appearance. You will see deeper than that. You will develop a natural love for each and every one around you. And it would not cross your mind to break a vow to someone else without first letting them know that you are no longer willing to be held to that vow. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness. These again are also promises of when you are on that higher path. You will feel no need to steal, even if it means that you starve. You would rather allow yourself to starve than to take from another. You would instead simply ask. When you are on the highest path that you have within you, the path that offers you the least amount of resistance to your journey, where the signs come clear and the lessons come to you in ways that you can see and understand, you shall no longer bear false witness against anyone. You won't feel the need to lie anymore about any aspect of yourself. You will be totally comfortable with who you are right now in this moment. Whether you're broke, it doesn't really matter. You will no longer hide yourself. And it's the hiding that causes the lying. This is the 9th promise that we are given. It's not a commandment. It's the 9th promise. When we are on our highest path, we shall no longer feel the need to lie in any way. As a matter of fact, we will be shining examples of the truth of our own being. The final promise given by a God of love in a universe that is made of love and filled with love, and that includes you, is that you will not covet anything of anyone else's. Whether it's the neighbor's wife or the neighbor's husband or their house or their car or their ox or their ass, it doesn't matter. You will not covet it for yourself. You will be at peace with whatever you have right now, and that's called gratitude. You could get rid of that 10th promise or commandment altogether and just put gratitude. You will become so grateful for every little thing that you perceive in your life that the concept of worrying about whether you have a car similar to your neighbor's will no longer cross your mind. These are the promises, the guidestones, the path laid out before us, not commandments, not things that you have to worry about, not things that you have to fear from a retributive God that would, showing its love for you, damn you to hell for all creation. No. These are the 10 promises from a God that loves you so deeply that it wants to show you the simplest and easiest path for you. Right here on this Valentine's Day. You will not put the God of money before the God of love. You will not feel the need to hold back from another to protect yourself any longer. You will realize that you are always held in the bosom of creation, an eternal being. That's it. That's all tonight. I don't want to keep it too long. I know everyone has lots to do this Valentine's Day evening, whatever the case may be. Doesn't matter whether you're by yourself or with someone else or not with someone else. It doesn't really matter. You are never alone. You are surrounded by, made of, swimming in love. All my love tonight. Namaste. Have a beautiful Valentine's. A happy Sunday. We'll see you again very soon.